What's up, everybody? Another episode from the chair. I'm Chris Eaton, and welcome to episode 105 of Snakes and the Fat Man. Hey there, everyone. You're tuned in to Snakes and the Fat Man with your host, Chris. I've got something thrilling to share with you today. Have you ever felt a bit lost navigating your snake collection or breeding plans? Well, I've got the solution just for you. Enter Andre and Patrick from Chimera, experts in the field and the guys you wish you knew sooner. They offer top-notch consulting services tailor-made for the snake enthusiast we are. They will help you meticulously evaluate your collection, giving you an insider's look into optimizing your lineup. And that's not all. They also specialize in drafting breeding plans and long-term project planning that factor into both your current needs and future goals, saving you time and resources in the process. With their expertise, breeding becomes a piece of cake. Cake. But here's the clincher. Andre and Patrick can help develop a business model that's designed to work for you. It's a holistic approach for maximizing your investment and passion in snake keeping. Two words there that I hate: holistic and passion. But they're giving me money, so I'm going to shut the fuck up. So don't wander in the dark. Get in touch with Andre and Patrick at Chimera and let the experts guide you. Remember, this is Snakes and the Fat Man, and we're all about taking the hiss out of handling your snakes. My snake hisses when I handle it. Go visit Patrick and Andre now at chimerareptile.com. Tune in next time for more exciting snake-centric chat. Catch you later, folks. All right, here's the thing. ReticFest is the best cocoa substrate on the fucking planet. It's the original veteran-owned cocoa substrate company, and they've been killing it for years. Your reptiles will just be happier on ReticFest. Stop being a Repta bitch and be a Repta bro. Get on the Repta train at www.reptichip.com. All right, listen, we only have 2 episodes after this for 2023, and we have some big announcements. The 15 Minutes of Lame contest will start on December 1st, and the winner will be announced on Christmas Day, December 25th, the birth of little baby Jesus. Online voting is limited to only 24 days this year, under a month. The voting will be split this year between online voting and 3 judges, and in the event of a tie, I'm going to be the one that breaks the tie. We're going to hold a special live event on December 1st announcing the launch of the contest, but I'm also super excited that Courtney and Stephen Capps of Leviathan Snakes, they had won the contest last year. They've been working on a documentary all year called 15 Minutes, a ball python documentary, and they're going to actually premiere that documentary right after our announcement of the beginning of the contest. So on December 1st, it's all going to happen here on the Snakes and the Fat Man YouTube channel. At least I think it's going to be that way. I got to talk to Stephen and Courtney about simulcasting the documentary. But I hope you guys, all come and join us for the celebrating of the launch of the 2023 15 Minutes of Lame contest with the premiere of the film 15 Minutes, a Ball Python documentary. Got to tell you, I'm pretty humbled that Stephen and Courtney used the basis of the 15 Minutes of Lame contest to structure this whole documentary around. So I appreciate it, guys, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I've seen little clips of it, and man, it's just fucking amazing. Stephen is so fucking talented, and it looks a lot better than the other ball python documentaries that are out there. Not saying nothing, I'm just saying. So for all you 2023 contestants in the 15 Minutes of Lame contest, get your reels, get your posts, get your stories together to start campaigning. I can't wait to see what all of you guys come up with this year. Remember, you only have 24 days this year to prove why you're worthy of being the lamest of the lame for 2023. All right, let's see what's going on with Herps. They're ending the year fucking strong, baby. They're going to be in Waco, Texas on October 21st and 22nd. They're going to be in Lake Charles, Louisiana on November 4th and 5th. They're going to be in West Monroe, Louisiana on November 18th and 19th. Then they're going to be in Austin, Texas on December 2nd and December 3rd. Let's see here. I'm just trying to go down the list here. They're going to be in Slidell, Louisiana. A lot of Louisiana shows happening in the next couple of months. They're going to be in Slidell on December 9th and 10th. Then the first show of the new year, they're going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on January 13th and 14th. Listen, just go to herpshows.net with any questions you may have. Ask Sean and Lori how they're doing. Tell them what a great job they're doing. herpshow.net. Redline Shipping is the #1 reptile shipping company in the United States. They wanted it. They went out and got it by fucking grinding, man. Let's keep the ball rolling. If you want to use Redline, use the code ROBIN60 for 60% off your first 2 orders, okay? 60% off your first 2 fucking orders, all right? Tell me that's not the best deal in the fucking shipping business. Look, you want to save more? After you're done using the 60% off code, use the code FATMAN5 for an additional $5 off Redline Shipping's already discounted rates. I'm telling you, Redline isn't fucking around. You're better off Red. Check them out at redlineshipping.com. All right, so as you can imagine, the last 2 months of my life have been a little bit of a setback, but we have some huge things coming for 2024. Huge. I'm telling you, huge. We got new segments making their debut. We're going to have a shit ton of new merch available. And hopefully some of that new merch will make its way under the Christmas tree if I could get everything done in time. A new website is in the works, and a ton more new video content for 2024 is going to be happening. Also, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling in 2024, going to all the major shows. That's Tinley, that's Dallas, that's probably even Schaumburg, that's Herps, that's Daytona. I'm looking forward to actually making up for the last 2 months with a full year of traveling, recording, maybe doing a little gay vlogging. I don't know, but it's going to happen in 2024. To say I'm excited about it is a fucking understatement. Say goodbye to spreadsheets. Say hello to Clutch. What's up, Clutch? There's been a ton of updates to the platform within this last month, and I'm telling you, this is the best ball python management system out there. Head on over to Clutch, that's CLTCH.io, and discover the power of your collection.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes and the Fat Man proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
What's up, everybody? Look who I have here. Danny and Renae Rocha of Portuguese Pythons. What's up, guys?
Hi.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good. How are you?
And you guys are in Chino, California, that you just told me, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And this is the first time that we're meeting.
We met in Arlington last year.
Oh, did we?
Yes.
I'm such a dick. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
No worries. You're a busy man.
I guess so. And this was when I had 2 legs. Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine now you're gonna be fucked when I have 1 leg and you see that, right? Holy shit. Well, you guys know how this works. You got 15 minutes to pimp out your wares, and that's gonna start right now. First of all, why you? There's so many good California breeders out there. I mean, that are just killing it, you know, from Cusco all the way down to Redwood, all the way down to No Limit. Why should people buy from you guys?
The mustache.
That's fucking a reason, right? Shit. I don't even like ball pythons, and I'd buy from him. All right. Shit.
Free mustache rides with every snake, you know?
Free mustache ride. Fucking there you go. I hope you like that robot leg, buddy. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So seriously, why should people buy from you? What separates you guys from the No Limit Royals and the Redwood reptiles?
I don't think nothing. As long as you give it 100% and you take care of your animals what you're supposed to, you give it customer service 100%. I don't think there's anything that separates us from somebody else that's giving 100%, right? So I think you just buy for somebody that is the animals that you like and that, you know, people you like too.
All right. Well, I mean, that's an okay answer, but you know,
Well, and I think we have a little bit different variety from the guys that you mentioned and whatnot. And our customer service goes from purchasing the animal to 2 years down the road when they're coming back and asking us questions. So I've never personally bought from those guys, but I know firsthand that I will always provide that customer service no matter what. How many years?
The better answer would have been fuck No Limit reptiles, or you know, fuck Redwood reptiles. Fuck them. Buy from us. Now, I'm going to ask you why you chose the name, but I mean, obviously, it's pretty obvious, right?
Danny's Portuguese.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So is this company all about Danny?
No, absolutely not.
9 times out of 10.
All right, calm down. Calm down. All right. You're getting out of control already. Okay. You haven't even been here 2 minutes, and Renee's already out of control. All right. So that's why you guys chose the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he initially wanted to do greenhorn something, and I'm like, that's stupid.
I thought it was cool, but
so I said, just roll with something that can roll off the tongue, Portuguese pythons. So
right. So like basic white girl didn't work?
Yeah, no.
No. All right. Calm it down. All right. We're having a good time. All right. So what are some projects that you guys are into? You said that you were doing some different things. What are you guys doing that's different there?
Heavily focused on ultramel. So adding ultramel into sunset, clown, pied. What else? Working clowns. Oh, working it in a puzzle.
Yeah.
What else are we doing?
No hypo though.
Yeah, no hypo.
No hypo. Fuck hypo. I mean,
fuck it.
Seriously, it's like the worst white trash gene ever.
I like hypo, but you know,
dude, like 12, 14 years ago, hypo would be the the recessive project that the poor people would get into because they couldn't afford anything else. And a hypo visual was like $180. Okay. So oh man, you're rocking that Mountain Dew. You don't really care about that sugar intake, huh?
Not right now. No, not when you're on Snakes and the Fat Man. You can't. You know what I mean? Yeah, let it go a little bit.
That's right. You got to let it go. But you're working with Puzzle though.
Yes.
Puzzle Ultramel, yeah.
But Puzzle is, I mean, and I hate to do this and give Sean Bradley any type of credence and say that he was right, but I mean, Puzzle kind of held its value. Even now, you know, what, 15 years later? Yeah. I know when we closed up shop, we were selling visual puzzles for like $5,000 a pop. So, I mean, even now, a visual puzzle is what, $1,500, $2,000?
Maybe just by itself, but not with like a head behind it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you guys are show people right now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What shows do you do out there?
We do all the super shows, and we dabble with Repticon, even though they're not as good as the East Coast and Central Valley.
Not as good as the East Coast. Yeah. They suck here.
Well, from what we heard, there's a little bit more promotion out that way, a little bit more volume of people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, the Atlanta one is good, but that's about the only one. Maybe the Tampa one, but Repticon has 40 other shows on the East Coast, and they all suck ass. So I'm actually surprised that they made it out to California. So, so you do other local shows on top of the big super shows, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys have the Urba show there anymore? Down in San Diego?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, the last one I went to was probably about 20 years ago, so I could see where it would have folded. All right, so you are show people, and how long have you been doing this?
19.
We got our first snake in 2017, first clutch in 2019.
Okay. And as of right now, 2023, how much have you put into it and how much have you gotten back?
Well, the first couple of years I didn't really keep track, but up until now, I wrote it down. I did some research. We put in about 130K.
Oh, okay. How much did he get back?
About 115.
Oh, no shit. Get the fuck out of here. That's fucking great. You guys are crushing it. Do you guys sell more at shows or Morph Market?
In 2020, we were heavily Morph Market because there was no shows.
Well, that was that was COVID. Yeah.
We started vending January 2021, and majority have been show sales with. I mean, last year wasn't too bad with Morph Market. This year's a little bit quieter, but our season's a little later. So we have a bunch of babies we haven't listed yet, just because we've been doing shows and whatnot. So kind of both.
What are your feelings on what Morph Market's become now versus a year ago?
It's not the same market.
It's the same Morph Market. I just think the market's not the same. Because if you look at I used to look at Morph Market, I think almost more like, I don't know how many times a day, right? Now it's like once in a while, right? So if I'm looking at it once in a while, I'm sure everybody else is kind of looking at it once in a while, right? So it's
right.
You have a little bit less money right now. You're not going to be looking at snakes. You're not going to be shopping for them. And a lot of these people are just the people that actually know what they want and are looking for, or the people that go to shows and just go get a pet.
Right.
That's what the market's at right now.
Yeah, I've noticed about 6 months ago, the show circuit really picked up with sales as opposed to Morph Market. Whereas for 2 years at shows, you know, people were getting killed. They were getting slaughtered. They were making, you know, a $400 sale going to Tinley. Like I know people that did the 18-hour drive from here to Tinley, and they sold $400 worth of shit. Whereas now I'm seeing shows are really kind of making a comeback. And look, I'm not saying that's because the dude from Morph Market is obnoxious as fuck, but I'm saying that it might possibly be that the guy from Morph Market is obnoxious as fuck, because this wouldn't have happened if John was in charge, you know? So, so you guys your shows are actually picking up over the last
Our shows are picking up just because we're taking a little bit more to shows. We don't have very much listed right now on Morph Market. I think if we did have like the full amount of what we have available listed, we might have some sales pick up. But just because we've been doing shows, we didn't want to be in limbo with taking those animals and then them selling at shows and selling the same day on Morph Market. Right. So it's like we're kind of holding out for Morph Market, but shows are doing pretty decent.
Right. And obviously the bigger shows are the super shows for sales, right?
So far.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many clutches did you have in 2023?
We're at 34 with possibly 2 more. Hopefully, maybe 3.
Okay. All right. So you're still keeping it under 50.
Yeah.
And how many total snakes do you have?
As far as our adult and holdbacks, we have just a little over 200.
Okay.
And then we have a bunch of babies.
Okay. So it's a full-time job, 200 snakes.
Yes.
Are either of you doing this full-time, or do you both have day gigs?
He works full-time.
And then she takes care of the kids full-time.
So we kind of split this full-time job between the 2 of us.
Oh, so that's like the bullshit job, right? Like my job is the hardest job in the world, right? Like, yeah, I'm spending my day building popsicle stick houses while my husband's out there risking his life, fucking at it.
No. We split the snakes.
See, I told you. He's right.
You're gonna sleep outside. No, we split the snakes between the 2 of us.
Oh no, I knew. I knew that's what.
He's making fun of like you have the hardest job. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have the hardest job. He's not risking his life.
What do you do, Danny, as far as the day gig?
I just do mechanic work. I work on like trailer mechanics.
All right, so he could be crushed by a trailer.
Split second.
And I can be crushed by a popsicle stick house.
Meanwhile, you're watching Magical Garden with the kids, and you're like, "Oh, my job is so hard."
School bus.
Look, I get it. Okay, yeah. Fucking, they're drawing school buses with fur on it with 5 wheels, and you got to tell them how great they're doing, right? I get it.
That's amazing.
So, I know it's amazing. All right, let's talk some sponsors. Man, I don't know how good you guys are going to do on this, just because of your location. But do you guys use ReticFest?
No.
You use some other fucking ghetto cocoa from out there, right?
I guess if you want to call it ghetto.
Yeah. All right. JT Tomlinson gives you a big old fuck you. Now, do you guys have a focus cube habitat cage in your house?
Oh, no.
Stephen and Ashley just give you a big old fuck you. I know you're going to say no to the next one. Have you ever been to a herp show?
Herp show? No.
You probably get a little bit of an excuse because you're a little bit far to go to a herp show. I mean, they're in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. But Sean Gray still gives you a big old fuck you. I mean, that's just the way it is. Do you keep other things aside from ball pythons?
Yeah, we have corn snakes and a couple king snakes and some tortoises.
But you don't have a gecko from Geeky Gecko Creations, do you?
No.
Oh, my God. Frank gives you just a big old fuck you. Now, I saw your logo, and it's a nice logo, but it was not done by Stewart Design, was it?
Can't say it was.
No.
Blake Stewart, who's one of the nicest guys, is just standing there with his middle finger up towards you. Now, do you guys use Redline shipping?
Yes.
We sure do.
Robin does not give you a fuck you. I'm surprised because a lot of you California people use Ship Your Reptiles, so I'm actually surprised.
We love.
So go you, all right? Go you guys. Fucking, you got 1 out of 7 so far. Have you ever bought a snake from Justin?
We have.
Fucking Justin does not give you a fuck you. However, do you use clutch?
No, I'm old school.
Boom. Justin gives you a fuck you. He takes that fucking non-fuck you right back and gives you a big old fuck you. Now, where do you see Portuguese pythons in 5 years? Do you plan on making it just in size, or do you plan on kind of keeping it more regulated to 200 to 300 snakes, and you're happy with that?
Go ahead.
I'll answer. I want to keep it Portuguese pythons big, meaning like I want to keep it to as big as we can get it, right? Like not meaning like bigger than we can
handle,
right? But just we've been slowly growing every year into it, right? So I think that's the best way to do it. So slowly have more clutches or 10 more clutches, and even 10 more clutches is a lot, right? So I think just we want to get to a point where we're comfortable as far as the workload and with the family and everything. So I don't know how big. I think we're going to slowly get there and find out like, hey, this is where the size we want to be, whether it's 50, whether it's 60, whether it's 100. I don't know yet, but I want to get there slowly and find out where it's at.
How many kids do you have?
3.
Are any of them old enough to help you?
Our oldest is 6, and he tries to help, but it's not like consistent.
Yeah. It becomes more work, right? When he tries to help you, you're just like, Jesus Christ, kid, just go to the fucking side. And
I know, but they like it. So it's hard. You got, we give them like 10 minutes, and they get over it, and then you go finish it.
Right. Now, how can people get in touch with you?
Nuts.
Instagram, email. We're on Facebook, but I feel like that's for a little bit older generation.
Oh,
I'm failing. Nah, Instagram, email, Morph Market.
Yeah. It doesn't matter now because your time just ran up. Especially ran up after that fucking old people comment.
Right? Older.
Holy shit. It's just Renee's just like, you know what, fat boy? Fuck you and your missing leg. All right? You old motherfucker. Holy shit. Well, all right. Is there anything that you want to say now? Like, when's the next show that you're going to do?
We're doing Repticon in November, and then the Super Show in January.
Okay. Man, I miss that fucking weather out there. I got to tell you. It's like
it sucks right now.
What?
It sucks right now. It's hot.
But hot like what?
No,
90?
Yeah, it's not bad right now. It's not too
bad.
It's not supposed to be 90.
Well, yeah. But...
I mean, she actually has no compunction with just yelling at you right on camera, huh?
Yeah. Like, after a while, you just tone it out.
How long you been married?
7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Oh, yeah. That's such a long time to be with one person. So I understand. Yeah, that's Jesus Christ. I don't know how you do it. 3 kids.
It's like waterboarding. You ever been waterboarder for 7.5 years?
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't, but I've been waterboarded for 10 months. All right.
Long enough.
And I noticed that you got your ears gauged there.
Yeah. It's your favorite.
What's my favorite?
No, that's your favorite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the holes in the ears. That's basically what Danny's just saying is fuck you to a job with benefits. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to fucking put as big a hole in my ear as I want to. And I'm just going to fucking deal with it. But anyway, guys, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. I know that you guys are probably like, dude, 15 minutes. We just did 2 hours on the show that we didn't even sponsor. Okay. But we're not even going to talk about that right now. Okay. All right. We're just not going to talk about it. So, but anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for sponsoring Fat Man Live, and keep killing it, man. I hear there's been nobody that's said to me, man, fuck Portuguese pythons. Everybody said to me, if you ever meet Danny and Renae, they're the nicest people that you ever meet. So nobody said fuck you. I mean, I don't know how with the attitude that fucking Renae has, but fucking still, right? It is what it is. But guys, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Listen, guys, Stewart Design doesn't just create logos. They build brands. What do I mean by this? Well, your brand has both a verbal and visual side. Think of this as your brand message and brand image. Your brand message is what initially draws clients to you and continually generates new business. After that, the quality of your product and service keeps them coming back and retains them. Without effective messaging, you're only going to be connecting with a small percentage of the clients you could be connecting with. Your brand message helps you clearly define who you are, how are you different from your competitors, what value you offer to your clients, and why potential clients should choose you over others. For this reason, Stewart Design always starts branding projects by developing your brand's message first. Creating a logo without understanding why and how it needs to look is only going to hold your company back and should be considered fucking malpractice. Stewart Design starts by clarifying your goals, audience, and industry. Then they form your messaging. After that, they strategically determine what colors, styles, and fonts make the most sense to use. And then finally, how the logo needs to look and function. You see, the visual identity of a company should be a natural result of proper strategy. Because the question really shouldn't be, do I like this? It should be, will this work? Stewart Design figures out what will actually work and provides you with a true investment to grow your business. When done right, it should attract the right people and it should reflect your business properly. It should make your company more memorable, and it should build trust and credibility with your clients. On the other hand, if it's done poorly, it could do the exact opposite. It could make you look amateur and can actually deter your business. Don't settle for a fucking idiot that simply offers you a cheap logo. Build your brand the right way. Bring out your best so you could get it right from the start and finally move out of your mother's fucking basement, crush it at Tinley, Pomona, or Arlington, and build a life for yourself doing what you love. Contact Stewart Design today. You could reach them at stewartdesignbrands.com. Again, that's stewartdesignbrands.com. All right, I met Tim Jackowicz of Intrepid Exotics at ReticFest this year, and immediately the one thing I was thinking is, wow, that is an unfortunate last name. These former military guys just have a way about them, making them the best people in the hobby. And I have faith that the hobby is going to be around in 10 years because of people like Tim. Here's my one-on-one with Tim Jackowicz of Intrepid Exotics. What's up, everybody? Look who I have here. Fucking Tim Jackowicz from Intrepid Exotics. What's up, brother?
Not much. I'm really impressed you got the name right, man.
Dude, fucking with that name, you must have had as much trouble in high school as I had.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how I learned how to fight really well.
Yeah, well. and you're an ex-Marine, right?
Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tim is a nice guy in all his videos and everything, but when you see Tim in person, you realize like this guy could kill me. Like this guy, he has that stare about him that's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with this guy like at all. Because I met Tim in person at ReticFest, right?
Yeah.
That's he knew me when I had two legs. Okay.
Right.
So now, that's a relic of the past, days gone by. So why don't you just tell everybody what you do, Tim, because you don't do ball pythons.
Right. Yeah, I got, I think probably what I'm most known for working with folks with is large constrictors, large monitor lizards, stuff like that. I've got a couple ball pythons here, a couple hognose and a couple geckos and stuff. We got a whole slew of animals here and stuff like that. But I just happened into a lot of handling experience with a lot of really big retics. So that's kind of how everything got started, was just trying to help folks, read them and make people more comfortable with their pets and stuff like that.
Well, you're not so you don't sell anything.
No.
Okay, you don't do trade shows or anything like that.
Nope. We did start getting a table. Me and a few other people out here started getting a table at some local shows around here, and we're not selling anything, but we just do educational stuff. So we're just there to kind of back up the vendors that are there.
Right.
So people got questions about the animals and stuff like that.
So your big thing is education, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the first times I've ever heard of Tim was when there was a video out of basically people just keeping their animals really, really shitty. Like you couldn't even see inside the glass, you know, and then they were handling, they had a bunch of retics and they were handling the retics with welder gloves and a big Carhartt jacket. You know, like saying this is the way you should handle retics, you know, so that you're safe. And Tim did a video on it, and you're not afraid to really call people out, right?
Right. Yeah, that was tough for me to watch, man, because they had captive retics, and they were, I mean, opening these nasty ass enclosures that they had them in and necking them, just
choking them out. Yeah.
I mean, just hanging these things around like they're a damn bag of old laundry or something, man.
Yeah, and you actually saw the retic like fighting it, you know, the whole time. And they're filming, like I was shocked that they actually filmed it in that kind of filth, you know. So like I would never put that out, you know, to the public, you know.
Right.
And speaking of filth, you were, you know, you did some videos on the whole Samson slither file thing, right? And really, what was your take on that? Because really, the reality of it is, people knew that he was keeping like this for years, and didn't say anything until that guy Rodney, you know, started his shit. You know,
right?
And it's really a shame because that page started off as a really good thing, but it really turned into a dumpster fire. Like you actually saw the progression of the page going from like something pretty cool to total shit in like 3 weeks, right? So what's your take on the whole Samson thing, and then that actual page that was calling him out?
Well, I mean, the page, it was, you know, I did a 2-hour interview with Kagan, the old manager that was out there,
right?
And there's a whole long discussion that we had about that. We talked for 2 hours on the phone, and then went right into a 2-hour live stream,
right?
Talking about all that stuff. And you know, I know the thing with the whole Rodney thing is that, I mean, he's just got a history of going after everybody that he can. Anybody he gets a wild hair up his ass and he wants to go after, and that's just, he makes them his pastime. And he just happened to latch onto something with the Samson situation that was actually legit,
right?
You know, so that got a lot of people behind him. And then he starts bringing anybody else in that he can think of that he might have a gripe with, and then everybody's like, "Whoa, wait a second, dude!"
Right. The page really turned into his personal forum for you know, calling out people that he didn't like, you know,
right?
And you know. Basically, what I found out from that page is the retic community is just as toxic as the ball python community.
God, it can be,
you know, because it was pretty bad. But what do you have to say about the Samson thing? Because everybody knew, you know, for years that this was going on, and nobody did anything about it until Rodney did the page.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've heard different things about different conditions and things like that through the years, how it was maybe up and down or whatnot. But my experience out there was, I had been keeping reptiles for a couple of years, and I'd never even really reached out to the community. I'd never really tried to meet too many people. And, so I started looking around locally to meet some people.
Right.
And I had a really well-paying job doing directional drilling, and just happened to run across an ad for somebody at a snake facility. So I went out there and I seen it. There was a whole building full of giant snakes, and got fed the whole excuse. Yeah, I can't find help and all that stuff. And that's why it's a friggin' nasty in here. I quit that job, took like a 75% pay cut just to work with those animals. And,
you actually worked there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His facility was 30 minutes away from where I lived.
Okay.
And Kagan, she was his operations person, his manager, whatnot, when I got there.
Okay.
So I walked in and, I get the tour of the place, and the smell of ammonia would about knock you over on your ass. Mm-hmm. And I got the whole spiel. Well, I can't find help. I can't get anybody in here to clean. And I was like, I got this. And so I came in and started taking care of the back building for him. Mm-hmm. And I was there 5 days a week, getting all that stuff back up to snuff. Handling, there was about 300 adult retics in there at a time, ranging from 8-foot males all the way up to 22-foot females. They were in that building. And Kagan and I really fed off of each other really well. We really worked good together out there. And it took, a good solid month to really get into a rhythm. But once we did, I had those animals cleaned. I had, I was bringing everything up. I went in, I didn't know anything about the dude or his background or nothing. I seen the dude had a bunch of snakes and he needs somebody to care for him.
Right.
So I seen an opportunity to just work with the animals. So, I'd be broke for a little while, but I'd do it anyway. But as you can imagine, the amount of handling experience you get cleaning 300 animals every week that aren't really well socialized. Some of them are really fearful of people because you don't find, the best retic handlers out here in the middle of North Carolina.
Right. Right.
And I had the same thing. We'd run through several people in a short period of time that I was there. Because it's not for everybody, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I hear that.
Yeah. When you're on a step ladder and you got an enclosure 7-8 foot up in the air with a pissed off 16-foot retic in it, and you've got to get that thing out of that enclosure and down into a tub so you can clean it. That's
how long did you work there?
I want to say 6 to 8 months, maybe something like that.
Okay. So almost a year.
Yeah. Closer to half a year, I think.
Okay.
I'm really shitty with dates.
Oh.
But yeah.
And what was the reason that you actually left?
It was either that or drag him out of his truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He seems like a hard guy to get along with.
Dude, if you're not an attractive young woman, he doesn't want anything to do with you.
Really? He's one of those?
Well, yeah.
Well, I can understand, like that's, my deal too, but it's, but I don't have, 300 retics.
Right. It was just a crazy dynamic because he was an ex-con. I'm an ex-correctional officer,
right?
Former Army engineer and all this shit. So, I'm the guy that showed up there who knows my shit on so many, construction, anything, my old boss let me bring an excavator out so I could trench in some shit for a generator and all that. We was getting stuff done out there, but yeah, he decided to start coming at me. Not physically, but I don't know. He thought he was going to start pushing his weight around on me.
Well, I can't see the two of you getting along. You're obviously more regimented than he is. You come from a background that's a lot more regimented, and I wouldn't worry about fighting that dude. That dude is man. Kick that dude's ass in a wheelchair, but fucking
flick his knee, man. The amount of stress on them knees. Touch that thing.
It's on, right? Yeah.
Holy shit, Strata broke the camel's back. But,
yeah.
The thing was, I've just got my bullshit threshold goes up to here. It really does. That's just part of being a soldier. You learn how to deal with anything. Right. So, my concern was staying focused on the animals, working with them. I was constantly trying to perfect my ability to read them and handle them and all that stuff. And of course, you get that after a while, you get that attachment to them, and you just want to see them in the best conditions they can possibly be in, you know. So you're always making sure everybody got fresh water, enclosures are as clean as you can possibly get them, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, long and short of it was that was just the pictures that came out. It's my understanding most of that stuff came after Kagan and I left, and some of the stuff was there. I mean, Kagan, she had gotten probably 2 or 3 other people in there at one point and started to raise the level of care up there some. And then I think that's about the time where he went and bought them 200 freaking tegus or something like that. And then just swamped them all with work again with stuff they weren't familiar with. So it was rough, man. Just like excuse me. Just like Kagan I was talking about in that video that we did, you know, if he would have just sat in the house, sold snakes, and like Kagan and I run that place, let us worry about staffing it, you know, and all that stuff, him come out, you know, I want to match that, you know, I want to pair these up and all that stuff. You guys take care of everything else. Let us slim down the collection to where it made sense.
Right.
We could have had something really good out there, man.
How many?
It could have really been.
How many snakes was he producing at the time when you were there? Or did you not have any access to that area of?
No, I mean, I had access. I'd poke my head into the whole bag room every now and then, but I really didn't have time to, for the most part. There was a little bit of time there where I was taking care of the crocodilians and stuff that were there, working on their enclosures and stuff like that. But no, I mean, as far as how many clutches he had, like I said, I wasn't really there long enough to watch a full breeding cycle.
Right.
You know, so I'd seen, you know, I think there was probably 3, 4, 5 clutches or something like that that dropped all those there. You know, probably 40 egg clutches or something, but
yeah, I mean that's still an insane, you know, snake. That's more snakes than anybody I feel like should have. You know, let alone the numbers that I heard he was doing. And when most retic people, as far as I know, as far as the bigger guys, they all have international clients, right? Mm-hmm. But also most retic breeders that I know, the things that I've heard are, you know, they're freezing up to half their animals every year, you know, half their newborns, because they know that they can't, there's no reason to feed them, because what they pay out, you know, what they pay out would not be, you know, even worth it. So did you see any of that there or no?
I didn't see any culling.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say it didn't happen. I just say I didn't see it. Mm-hmm. We did lose a couple animals while I was there. One of them that we lost because it was a male that was attacked when we put him in with the female.
Right.
And he made it about a week, and just there was nothing we could do for him. He went. And I think there was one more that somebody had overfed pretty badly and had complications around that. But like I said, man, after a little while of being there, the standards started coming up. You know, the snakes were healthier. Mm-hmm. Everything was cleaner and stuff like that. So,
and then it all fell to shit when you left.
Yeah. I mean, he had there was a couple different guys that would come in to help sometimes, but I mean, it's difficult work. I've done some of the hardest work in the fucking world, you know.
Right.
You know, Special Forces selection twice, and then, you know, a year or so to Q course and all that crap. So I've got a really good point of reference for what hard work is.
Right.
And so I killed myself out there, man. It's a lot of damn work.
And did you and Kagan leave at the same time?
No. She had stayed behind. I think she might have stayed maybe another 6 months or a year or something after I left.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah, because I mean, she was really invested in it.
Right.
And you know, her being an attractive female, of course, Samson would spend as much time as he could,
right,
teaching her stuff. You know, I'd pull him aside and I'd start asking him questions about morphs or something like that, and he'd just kind of stick his nose up in the air and go off and do something else. Like, okay, dude, we can play it like that.
And then right after you quit, you went right back to a job that actually paid you what you were worth, right?
Did I go right after that? I don't even remember what I did right after that. But yeah, I mean, when it paid a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us really feel like we're paid what we're worth, but
yeah, well, yeah, but a lot of people have a skewed fucking self-perception of what they're actually worth, you know. So
right.
We got that here in New York with this $15 an hour minimum wage thing, you know,
right?
Which is just insane. You know, to pay someone $15 an hour when there's somebody that's been busting their ass for you for years that you only pay $17 an hour to. You know, it's just one of the things I hate about this state. You know.
Yeah, pay scales aren't quite what they should be.
Yeah,
but
and now, what do you keep now? Like, what do you got back there? Is it only Retics or? No, you said before you keep a bunch of different things. What else do you keep?
Yeah, I've got the two 16-foot mainlands, a male and a female, and I've got a 13-foot berm, 7-8-foot boa imperator. I've got the other 6-foot male retic that I just got here recently. The green tree python, the Sri Lankan. Just got a dwarf female from Jordan out of Heartland Reptiles last week. Who's back up there behind me. There's a couple of rough scale green snakes up there. Let's see, the hognose, got 2 hognose, 2 ball pythons, a Florida king snake. And I know I'm forgetting something.
You may be one of the few people on the planet with just 2 ball pythons.
I know, right?
Right? Shit. And what are they, normals? You know,
I got a female normal and then a little ghost male. I had a little piebald that I sold,
right?
Because I did have more stuff and I thinned down what I had just because. I mean, it's all I can do to work a full-time job and work on a channel and plus take care of what I've got.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, yeah, one guy doing that. Does your wife help or no?
Well, yeah, she works we've got 5 pet rats, 2 prairie dogs, a hedgehog, crested gecko, leopard geckos, and a beardy. So she does a lot more stuff with them.
And there's no breeding going on?
No.
Not at all, huh?
No. Which is kind of unfortunate. I'd really like to see the prairie dogs breed because they've got such a short. I mean, everything I've read said they've got like a 30-minute period every year where they can breed.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, which is weird, but I mean, like I said, I've looked it up, and everything I've seen said that they've got just a finite window for breeding.
Right.
So, which I guess is probably a good thing, or else they would take over the Midwest. You know.
Yeah. It is.
Or out west.
Yeah, but what's the market for prairie dogs, right? Like how many do they have at once?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know I get a lot of people asking me about them, asking where they can get them and stuff like that.
Right.
But I probably get just as many messages from people that tell me how much of a nuisance they are where they live.
Right.
Talk about their cattle and their horses and stuff like that, you know, running across prairie dog dens. And
well, and are you from North Carolina?
No, I was born in Gary, Indiana.
In Gary, Indiana. I used to make fun of those people. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Jackowicz is definitely like a Chicago name.
Yeah.
You know, like that's that. Have you spent any time there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about
that. Oddly enough, there for a while, I had a security job that ran out of a detective agency's office out on South Halstead Street. for a little while, and then I left the state. So
willingly, or did they force you out?
Oh, I got out of there as quick as I could. It's too damn cold up there. I think from there I went to Texas.
You seem like a Texas guy. You seem like a guy that has a pickup truck, you know, doesn't mind driving 8 hours each way to go to work. You know, like fucking some weird ass fucking shit like that.
That used to be the case.
Yeah, well, Texas fucking crazy, man. The last time I was at Arlington, I'm like, how long did it take you to get here? And they're like, yeah, 13 hours. And I'm like, fuck, where you from? And he's like, Texas. Yeah. And I'm like, how the fuck?
We're in Texas.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Were you 19 hours ago away?
Yeah, fucking. You're driving 13 hours. You start off in Texas. You finish the 13 hours. You're still in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a long, boring ass ride.
I remember driving from Bryan to San Antonio, and it was a 4-hour drive, and I was bitching, right? Like fucking, like I don't drive 4 hours anywhere. If my father was 4 hours away, I wouldn't drive 4 hours to see him.
Right.
You know, and the only thing I remember, I'm like, who is paying for all of this fence? Because all you saw was fence down the whole highway. My friend fenced his backyard, and it's like 1/5 of an acre, and it cost him $3 grand, maybe $5 grand.
Oh yeah,
a 1/4 of an acre. Yet somebody's paying for all this fence, you know. And it was just so man, Texas is so hot and so flat, and it makes you wonder, like, you gotta be a tougher person coming from Texas than like fucking some kind of pussy state like New Jersey or New York. You know? Because I know when I was there, it was like 100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. And I was at a barbecue, and people were partying like we weren't in the 5th circle of hell. You know, like fucking, and they're all eating meat. They're all overweight. They're all fucking fat bastards. And fucking, I had to tap out at about 10:30 because I was like, listen, it's way too fucking hot. Like, how do you people fucking do this?
Dude, I went when I first, because I made a couple trips out of Indiana. I went the one from up north, up by Chicago, down to Denton, which is north of Dallas. And I went from a fucking office job up there to framing houses in Texas in the middle of the summer.
Right. Yeah.
So for the first 2 weeks I was doing that, I'd be up on the roof or something like that, working or framing a rafter in or something. All of a sudden start getting tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Go dump water over my head and sit under the tree for a half hour until I could see again. And that was every day for like 2 weeks, because it was just such a shock to the system, getting used to the heat.
Yeah. Everybody's like, being a mother is the most difficult job in the world. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think those mothers saw roofers in Texas, you know.
Yeah.
But like that's the most difficult job in the world.
Yeah. It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I was a single dad for a little while, and raising my kid was a lot easier than just about anything else that I'd ever done.
Right. Seriously. Bill Burr said, he said, any job that you could do in your pajamas is not a difficult job.
Yeah, Bill Burr addresses that properly.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good take on it.
What do you spend all day building popsicle houses and fucking eating ices? Yeah, fucking yeah, just fucking pain in the ass.
Well, my next friggin' move was from southern Indiana. I ended up going back up there for a little while, and then went from there to Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Well, it's 100 degrees, but it doesn't feel 100 degrees.
Yeah, it does. It's fucking. You go from the devil's armpit to the devil's asshole, man. It's just...
Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. Look, it doesn't matter what reptile you're feeding. The Reptile Deli has it all. I'm beyond excited to have my old friend Brian Kazmarchak bringing the Reptile Deli to the strip mall that is Snakes and the Fat Man. I've watched Brian grow this business from a fucking storage pod to a 25,000 square foot facility in a state where they make it almost impossible for a small business to succeed, let alone grow. Reptile Deli has been producing some of the industry's best feeder rodents for almost 15 years. Their rodents are grown under the best conditions and regularly tested for quality to be sure they're in optimal health before they ship them right to your door. Reptile Deli also has a roach issue. They've spent years raising dubia roaches and have put insane efforts into R&D so that your pet reptiles get the very best. They offer cup dubia roaches, bulk dubia roaches, and wholesale dubia roaches in a variety of sizes. Are you one of those bioactive people? The deli offers simply the best isopods and springtails in the business, with cutting-edge isopod and springtail technology that brings in unbelievable shelf life with biostable microhabitat culture cups. They have an incredible selection of isopods for sale, from rare species all the way down to the common roly-polies, man. Reptile Deli has grown into a cutting-edge feed manufacturer and are distributors of the most advanced reptile products. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of over 800 retail locations across North America that are selling their products. Check them out now at reptiledeli.com. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes and the Fat Man family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed Habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line.
It was, I mean, I think this summer it was over 115 for like a month straight or something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, I mean, before that, I did have some experience out in the heat because when I was in the military, we used to go out to Fort Irwin, which is in Southern California, like 20 kilometers south of Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we do our, 30 days of training. So,
Right.
Yeah. And that sucked.
Yeah, I've been through that. I've been through that, and you're like, man, there's a whole lot of nothing through here, and a whole lot of nothing could fucking kill you.
Right.
But it's fucking rough, man. But now you're in North Carolina, where it's fairly moderate there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it still gets warm, but I mean, at least we've got trees here,
right.
So that was a big
trees, right? You got some nice views, I know that I was looking in Tennessee, and you guys are only about 4 hours away from Tennessee.
Tennessee's nice too.
Yeah, that's really that and Texas were the 2 retirement plans.
Right.
But I don't know if I could do the heat in Texas, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really go outside anyway, but
Right.
you know, I'd still be basically just in the house all day with the air conditioning on, you know,
Yeah.
running up my electric bill. But fucking
be the same thing here in North Carolina, because summers here, dude, they are pretty hot. You know,
Right.
humidity's kind of crazy. You
Right.
know, once it gets over 90 down here, of course, the humidity's up 50-60%. And so it's uncomfortable. But I mean, the thing that really disturbed me about Texas was the first couple hailstorms that I was in down there.
Yeah.
Those happen all the time. If you ain't got a carport or a garage, you're replacing something at some point.
Yeah, 200 degrees, and then all of a sudden ice is falling out of the sky, and you're like, "What the fuck, man?" I've seen video, like Sean Gray has taken a video of the hailing there, and
yeah,
I'm just like, motherfucker, like this could fuck up your shit really quick. You know, that was one of the things that was holding me back. But then, you know, then I went to Tennessee. I saw how much I liked it there. How, you know, it was 80 degrees in Tennessee, and I was like, oh, this doesn't suck, you know. And at its coldest, it was like 35, and I'm like, oh, this kind of doesn't suck either. You know, coming from New York, which, you know, your coldest could be, you know, -7, and it's snowing 3 feet at a time. You know, a friend of mine in Tennessee was like, yeah, it snows every now and then, but by the next day it's gone. And I'm like, well, that's, you know, it sounds like a place I'd want to be, you know?
Yeah, it beats the hell out of the cold up north.
Yeah.
North Carolina is not bad. And I'm in the center of the state. So anytime there's a hurricane, you know, it's pretty much dead by the time it gets to us. We get a little bit of rain out of it, and that's it.
Yeah, see, we just had like 3 straight days of pouring rain from some kind of hurricane that hit us. You know, hit the tail end or whatever. And man, I live in a decent area, and fucking man, to watch these rich people's trees just falling down across, you know, across the street, and fucking you know, streets were blocked, and fucking and then we had a bunch of flooding here, you know, recently.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, Ruth keeps up with that because she's from Brooklyn.
Oh, she is? Okay, all right, cool.
So she's still got friends up there in Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens, and all that stuff. So,
Manhattan, like the south end of Manhattan was flooded. I mean, like 2 or 3 feet of water. Like, who the fuck would expect that? You know, it's like out of a fucking movie, you know? But also the news made it seem like the whole island was like that. When just a very small portion of the island was like that, you know?
So I've watched some documentaries on like worst case scenarios for hurricanes. If the right strength hurricane hits in just the right spot up there off of New York. I mean, it's just gonna drown you guys up there.
I mean, the only thing
like day after tomorrow shit.
I'm right across the street from the water, but luckily I'm on a hill. So I'm like, all right, at least I'll be safe, you know, on the hill. But then I thought, you know, you're not going to be safe because all the other motherfuckers down by the water are going to run up by the hill. And I can't fight, you know, like fucking these people are going to take over my apartment. They're going to turn me upside down and shake the fucking nickels out of my fucking pants and just take everything I have, you know? So I definitely plan on doing the Tennessee. Plus, you got the Smoky Mountains there, man. And I've been watching a lot of documentaries about the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot, and I'd like to fucking, you know, get my fucking fake leg on a fucking hiking trail and hope to see a Bigfoot, right? So so I have a plan, man.
Well, those things, you know, they're like some of them prosthetics are like leaf springs, you know.
Dude, I don't need one of those Oscar Pistorius fucking leaf springs. You know, like fucking I was at the prosthetic place just Friday. And they were showing me different things, and they're like, you could have one of these leaf spring ones. And I was like, do I look like I fucking run a marathon? Like fucking like I need something that I could handle regular walking and a light trail. Okay. And you know, even with the fake leg, fucking I don't think I could be Bigfooting it, you know, squatching. I can't be squatching, fucking going up hills and fucking, you know, tree knocking shit and fucking. But at least I could go there. I thought that a cool series for the show would be like Chris in the Wild and me going on these fucking, you know, like a Bigfoot expedition. And
get some good footage out there, man, because there's some gorgeous countryside.
Yeah, but what I was thinking I would do is I would film it all to where I would be, because I've never been camping before either, right? Like I never set up a tent or anything. I don't know how to do that shit. Like I'm not gonna sleep on the floor, you know. Like, are you kidding me? So, and I would set up a tent and fucking rough it for a couple of days. But then at one point towards the end of the video, the camera pans just a little bit, and the parking lot is literally 10 feet away. And fucking I just go back and forth, you know, to the hotel every night. That would be the way to do it. That's the way like Survivor Man does it and shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking a lot of ideas percolating, you know?
So then you got to get at least one bear in the picture.
Yeah, well, I could do that because I could get stock footage of a bear from my friend Max and be like, when you saw a bear in fucking, you know, Alaska, did you film it? You know, and as long as he filmed it, I could cut to that scene and be like, fuck, we got a bear right here, you know, just overdub it.
I wouldn't mind seeing a bear in Tennessee, but a bear in Alaska, I'd avoid that like the plague.
Dude, I'd shit my pants with just like a black bear. There's one. I was in Colorado one time, and my ex-girlfriend's mother owned 100,000-acre ranch in Dinosaur, Colorado.
Oh, nice.
Right? So, you know, she gave me the keys to like an ATV, and she was like, go look around, you know. And I was on this little trail that was only about 4 feet wide. It was on like a hill. And I'm going all happy, thinking I'm like the city guy in the fucking country. I'm killing it, right? And all of a sudden, the bushes fucking rustled. And I stopped the thing, and I was watching the bushes, and a fucking cow popped its head out, you know? And I shit myself, man, when I saw the cow because it had horns and everything, right? And it was just looking at me, right? And there wasn't room enough on the little trail that I was on to turn the ATV around. So I literally got off the ATV real slow and just started picking it up inch by inch to turn it around, right? And then I fucking hauled ass away from that cow, right? So when I got back to the main house, one of the ranchers was there. He was just like he was Curly from City Slickers.
Yeah.
No, but his name was Minford. And I'm like, hey, Minford, like a cow ever kill anybody? And he just looked at me and he's like, what are you, an asshole? And then he just fucking walked away.
Losing your audio for a second, man. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you're losing your audio. Or I just can't hear you. There we go.
Oh, wait. That better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. But anyway, the guy asked me, what am I, an asshole, like 5 times. and I was just like, listen, you keep calling, you know, saying that. I'm going to sweep the leg or do something that I have to do. Like I have to kick a cowboy's ass. And I saw him get into a fight with one of the ranch hands, and he was 78 years old. And he whipped that dude's ass, you know, like you wouldn't believe. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to take this guy down. I'm just going to take his shit for the rest of the trip. You know?
Right.
Colorado's nice. I definitely would move back to Colorado. But it's, you know.
A lot of snow still.
A lot of snow. But, you know, if you're on the border of Colorado and Utah, there's really not that much.
Really?
I lived in a town called Grand Junction. And we, you know, when I had my little ranch there, and I mean, we had an inch of snow every year, maybe.
Oh, that ain't bad.
You know, so there's certain places I would move, but there's certain places like I would never move again. Like I would never move back to California, you know. But like California is just the worst. All right. It's as bad as New York. So
yeah.
So getting out of New York is the primary goal, you know, now that I have access to a fake leg, you know. And
man, there's a damn story that pops into my head. I mean, meaning to tell you all the time ever since you had to deal with all of this stuff, man. When we was down at Fort Bragg, I remember going out to a bar with my buddies one night, and we walk in the door, and you know, the sea of heads and stuff across this old redneck bar, and I just kept seeing this foot going up in the air over everybody's heads. Every now and then you just see it pop up somewhere else and it pop up over here. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? And one of the guys from my battalion that had a prosthetic, they were putting it under the beer tapper and passing it around the bar. So everybody's filling his leg up and drinking out of it.
That's actually, we were thinking of at Tinley having like a scavenger hunt for the fake leg. You know, they're just putting it somewhere and be like, fucking the winner gets whatever. But also, I would totally be up for like wheelchair fights at Tinley.
Yeah,
like that would be, they'd be a lot more interesting than these grappling matches that they've been having, you know, lately. With,
I just
two old guys fucking rolling around on the floor for fucking 20 minutes.
Right.
So
the wheelchair jousting.
I think I could take out a guy. Like I'm killing it in this chair. But like I went out and bought a new wheelchair, right? Because the one the insurance gave me, like, screws were falling off it, like while I was wheeling, you know, like while I was and I'm like, yeah, this can't be good. This is probably not good. That screw probably should have been somewhere important. Right. And I went out and bought my own wheelchair, right?
They typically put them someplace for a purpose.
Dude, seriously, right? And this new one I got, I haven't been in it long, okay? But this is like the Cadillac of wheelchairs. Like you spend enough time in this thing, you almost wish that you were handicapped, all right? So it's a fucking it's a cool wheelchair. I still can't wait to get out of it, but
right.
Man, I tell you, wheelchair living is just not for me, you know. But like you know, you're bumping into shit, everything looks fucking 20 feet in the air. You know, like I have a short friend of mine that came over, and I rolled up to him, and he looked 6'3", right? The dude's only like 4'11", right? But I look up at it, and I'm like, fuck, this dude looks like 6'3", and he could just yell at me like a parent, you know?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's gotta be weird, man. It's gotta be a crazy transition. And that was all from that episode driving out to Garrett's place.
Well, the bypass failed on my way out to Garrett's place. Man. So basically it started the pain. But so when I met you, like I was in like tear-jerking pain.
Yeah.
Well, like the only thing that kept me sane was the blonde that was with me. You know, like fucking it was just so like that's why I was sitting down. I'm like fucking you know, I don't spend my time fucking sitting down places, you know. Right. And by the time we got back, I mean, I could, you know, the doctor did an ultrasound, and I knew I was going to lose it before I even went to the doctor. I just said, listen, I think it's time that we just chop it off, because, you know, if you do something that buys me 6 months, that puts me in the hospital for a week, and then I only get 6 months out of it, and just to have to lose it again. So I was like, let's just, you know, take it off. And he was like, all right, you know, and they ended up taking it off. What I thought, though, was that they would just chop it off. You know, they go layer by layer.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that shit is painful. I had some phantom pain, you know, after that. And it was the most painful shit I ever went through in my life. But I was like, why wouldn't you just chop it off? Like, I've seen ninja movies my whole life where they got to, and they're chopping off a guy's leg and chopping off a guy's arm. And they're like, no, we can't do it, man.
Yeah, because everything will pull back a little bit as you release it.
Right.
So you got to accommodate for all that pulling back and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, it sucked, man. It sucked. I always said, I'm not going to be one of these maniacs screaming in pain in the hospital, you know, that you hear at 2 a.m. Right. And I was one of those maniacs, man, because and the leg wasn't even there. So the doctor's trying to explain to me that we can't give you anything because you know, what you're feeling isn't there.
Right.
And I was in so much pain and screaming, and my aunt was with me, and my aunt is like a little Joe Pesci, right? So
Yeah.
I'm there screaming that my fucking leg is in pain, and the food guy comes in and he's like, "Mr. Eaton, I just want to get your food order for breakfast." And my aunt's like, "You motherfucker, don't you see what he's going through? Get the fuck out of here!" Right?
The Lethal Weapon scene pop into my head.
Right. That's what it was totally like. So looking back at it now, it was funny as shit. But going through it, I'm like,
nerve pain's no joke, man.
No.
I always thought it was all bullshit too until I had my first episode of it. And I don't know what the hell happened to this day, but I had really, really terrible freaking nerve pain. And it was so bad that by the time I'd actually gotten to sleep by like 5 o'clock in the morning, when I did wake up, every place that hurt felt like it had lidocaine on it. And I've never gotten a feeling back in it.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah. It's the why I still feel like my leg is there. Like I still like when the pain gets too much, I just pretend to rock my leg back and forth, and I look down and there's nothing there, you know.
Right.
Well,
I've thought about that a lot, man, because I've had a bone infection in my other leg before, and I know that stuff can get bad enough to where it's like, okay, you're losing your leg, or you're going to go septic and die.
Right.
You know, fortunately, it healed, but I was already getting myself mentally prepared so that if the doc was to say, okay, yeah, it's getting that bad, make it go away. So I've wondered, you know, what it would be like. I was like, man, it's gonna be interesting. But
I thought that I had prepared for like every scenario,
right?
But you can never, you know. Like I didn't take my family into consideration at all, like what they'd have to see me go through. And you know, I don't care how much of a tough guy you are, you fucking see your mother crying, you're like, fuck, I think I might have made a mistake, you know. And I did want to keep the leg though, and you can't keep your own body part, you know.
Really?
Yeah, they don't let you. I offered them $1,000 for it. They were
really?
like, nope, like, what are you, crazy? So
that kind of sucks. I mean, they should have at least let you keep the bones, you know.
The bones, right? Yeah. Well, my mother, when she was in the waiting room, her and my father, she saw two nurses take like a 3-foot box out, and my mother's like, I wonder if that was his leg, right?
Right.
And I talked to the surgeon afterwards, and he's like, yeah, that definitely was your legs. He goes, if you wanted to keep it, your mother should have tackled the two nurses and took it home, because we can't let you keep it. So,
no kidding.
But I would have loved to have it back here on the wall.
Right.
You know, just.
I mean, I know it sounds morbid, but I do the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, give me a toe at least, you know, like fucking just give me something. So
I'd probably figure out a way to incorporate it into the prosthetic.
Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Terminator leg prosthetic, where it looks like the Terminator after the skin's been taken off.
No, that's cool.
And I got a sound engineer, a friend of mine, who goes, we could just put a little disc on it where that everywhere you walk, it just goes zzz, zzz, zzz,
that would be cool.
like a real Terminator. And I was like, if people could hear me coming before I get there, I would fucking love that. Okay. So
that's awesome.
That's what I'm hoping for. But I you know, I make light of it, but the road ahead is pretty rough, considering I got to spend a couple of months learning how to rewalk again, you know.
Right.
And that's and then I'm like, you know, worried about falling. And the doctors don't help. They're like, oh, you will fall. Like, and I'm like, don't tell me that. But like, I have $100,000 leg on my body. Don't tell me I'm gonna fall. Right. And he's like, you're gonna fall all the time. And I'm like, God damn it.
All you can do is laugh about it, man.
Well, yeah, that's all you can do. So
I mean, it's not the same thing, but I mean, when I had my ACL surgery on my knee, Doc wanted me to be standing on it as soon as I woke up. And, you know, he gave me the block, a femoral block, but I was sympathetically half dead on the other leg too. And the jackass that he sent in there to help me out of bed was on crutches. So I'm sitting there. I get myself rolled off the side of the bed. I'm still groggy as hell from the anesthesia, and I see this dude crutching his way through the door. It's like, come on, what are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
As soon as I stood up, man, my other leg went dead. As soon as I went straight in my back, my good leg went dead, and I just fell right on my ass. Right as the surgeon was coming around the door. So, like, yeah, a lot of good your dude did.
Yeah, your dude on crutches. Like,
and then an hour later, I'm going home, and my leg was still dead. I couldn't walk up the 2 steps to get into the back of my house.
Right.
So I turned around, and I'm sliding my ass all the way,
the
way through the house, back up to the bed.
That's the thing that I was worried about is like, I can't even get up 1 step right now. Yeah. But like, because a step is 8 inches or whatever high. I fucking fell because I lost my balance opening a drawer. Okay, so you think I'm gonna get up that 8-inch step? Like, you're out of your fucking mind. So I told my sister, I was like, listen, you're gonna have to build a ramp if you want me to come over. And she's like, I have 1 step. And she's like, I'm not gonna build a fucking ramp on 1 step so that you could pop by. She goes, you wait outside and we'll keep the door open. Okay. So I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. That's how it's going to be now. Right. So I have this thing in my head called accepted resignation.
Yeah.
So that, and it's just the process of like, oh, this is just the way it is now. Like fucking, you get out of bed and something cracks. You're just like, oh, this is just the way it is now for the rest of my life. It hurts when you pee. You're like, oh, this is just the way it is now for the rest of my life. And that's been happening a lot more than not, So it's not cool, man. But anyway, back to you. Yeah. What do you plan on doing? Like where does Intrepid Exotics go in the next 5 years?
Hopefully in the next 5 years, I'm doing this full time.
But how do you make money off of doing that? You think YouTube will?
Well, I mean, you can if you get a big enough base, big enough subscriber base, and a big enough Patreon base, you can generate enough to fund, at least being able to do this stuff full time. Right. So, and this I never really began it for any other reason than to just kind of share I had all that unique knowledge and I just wanted to put it out there,
Right.
And it kept going and kept going. And I kept getting such positive feedback from everybody. And then I'd start getting all of these messages, from people saying, man, I almost had to get rid of my snake, but I watched your videos and now I can work with it. I used to be afraid of this and now I've got it and everything's awesome. And, so I mean, just got inundated with that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, this is actually helping people,
Right.
Right. And I've got a natural knack for that kind of stuff because I've taught something throughout my life,
Right.
And it just kind of falls right into the reptile thing. So, I would love nothing more than to just, it's tough right now because I'm working a full-time job and all that stuff. And I've got finite space and finite finances to work with. So we're still in a struggling along phase, but it's growing slowly. And, if I can get this stuff to the point where, if not opening a public facility, at least being able to move into a house big enough to where I can set it up to accommodate like a whole basement. It's a reptile room about 3-4 times the size of what I've got now.
Right.
What I've got now is really small. And I'd really like to have something there where people can come over and get handling training with the big animals and stuff like that. Yeah. Because I mean, I tell everybody when they get their snakes, I was like, okay, so this is your first retake. You've had ball pythons your whole life. If you get a mainland and it's 2, 3, 4, 5 feet long right now, you need to know how to handle that animal before it gets 16, 18 feet.
Right.
Because if you don't have any experience and you get this perfect relationship with it, and then all of a sudden it starts getting an attitude at 16 feet long. Right. And you've never worked with a snake that's got an attitude at 16 feet long, what the hell are you going to do?
Right. Right.
How are you going to clean their enclosure if you're afraid to get in there and get it out and work with it?
Right.
So I always tell people, find somebody nearby that's got a mentor that you can mentor off of, that can like get you handling bigger animals, maybe some that are a little bit touchier than what you've got, so you can get some good experience. So ultimately, I think it would be awesome to have a place where I've got enough room to where I can, have a couple snakes that are a little bit more defensive and stuff like that.
Right.
And do more training with folks like that. And same thing with like monitor lizards.
Right.
Showing people how to work with those. Maybe doing some rescue stuff in there as well. But we already do the public education stuff with like parks departments and things like that.
Right.
Which is going over really well too. So
well, that's interesting. I think the whole paid for training thing is kind of a smart idea, because you almost know the people that would be responsible are the only ones that you would get. You could pretty much judge, like this guy just bought a retic, but he's serious about it because he paid Tim to do, 6 months worth of training on it,
Right.
So I think that's actually a good idea, and that could work, because a lot of people can't find mentors in their states that keep 17-foot snakes,
Yeah. Everybody that's messaged me asking for advice, I tell them the same thing, and they're like, the closest person I know is 4 hours away.
Right, exactly.
My answer to that is, well, that's part of owning your snake. Then is you got to make that 4-hour drive to go do the work.
Right. Well, what's your? Give me some good retic breeders that you see, aside from yourself, throughout the country, like just.
Well, I mean, one of the best that, and this is just based on the animals and the projects that I've seen him working on. Aubrey has got some amazing animals over there. He's been working, years and years and years on.
Right.
So he's really good. And of course, that was a sticking point with Rodney, because Rodney hates Aubrey. And
isn't that funny that like. The apple definitely falls far from the tree, right? Because I mean, one dude's brother is probably the best at it, and then the dude's brother is just the worst at it.
Yeah, and I mean, my brother and me are polar opposites on so many different levels, so I can understand that personally. But I mean, I've been to Aubrey's house. I've, met his family. We've played with all the animals and stuff like that. I mean, everything the dude does over there is on point.
Right.
And, some of the stuff. So he's one, but the thing is I think he's kind of slowing down a little bit. And he's never had a big operation over there. It's all been really specific to this stuff, to his projects.
Right.
He wanted to do. So, I mean, there's that. And we just had somebody in a group today on Facebook asking me, and I direct people to DNT, to Dax.
Oh, yeah, Zach and Dax. Yeah.
So
not Zach and Dax, Dax and Taylor.
Yeah. So I'll direct them to Dax or Chris McVicker. Those are two breeders that I've got enough faith to refer people to.
Right.
And and since I don't buy animals frequently, I'm not always in the loop with who's got what going on, and who the good breeders are and stuff like that all the time. So, I like to send people to either Dax or Chris. And if those two don't have what they're looking for, they definitely know enough people to get them pointed in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I trust their judgment on anybody that they would refer somebody to. So,
yeah, Dax and Taylor are really good people. Like, I've met them in Arlington. They're top-notch people. And Chris McVicker, I think I met him once.
Yeah.
I never met Aubrey, but I hear all this cool shit about him. I hear like he'll fly you out. If you're going to buy certain animals.
Yeah, I mean,
fly you out to his facility, and that would instill confidence in me.
Oh yeah. I mean, Aubrey's awesome, man. He would like, he's been on everything that I've set up so far as educational stuff.
Right.
I mean, even with the schedule that he's got, he always makes time.
Right.
He was always on board for that kind of stuff. That last one that we did out at the park here, he brought his big Aldabra tortoise. I get there, I'm setting up, and he was one of the last ones to show up as we was setting up, and I'm kind of asking around. Chris Salisbury from Gorgon's Head was out there with us too, and it's like, shit, you guys seen Aubrey? And he's like, yeah, he's in a big U-Haul over there. Like, what's he doing in a U-Haul? But he was like, okay, he's like, I was either gonna frame out a box to put in the wife's SUV to bring the tortoise down here. I decided it was just easier to get a U-Haul. So he throws the whole tub, throws the tortoise in there, and brings it all down in a U-Haul for the event.
Yeah, see that. How far is he from you?
About an hour.
Oh, he's that close. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hour and a half tops.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not that far away. And of course, Jeremy and Rob from Nerd moved down here too.
Right. Yeah.
So Jeremy was out there on that last one with us for a while.
Jeremy Turgeon is awesome. I never met Rob, but I love Jeremy to death. He's fucking killer. I mean, he's just a positive dude. He's a musician. Yeah. He's, you know, I really like him.
Yeah. And he's so much fun to hang out with too, man. We did the Herp Society thing out here at the zoo a few months ago.
Right.
Yeah. My guts were hurting by the time we left there from laughing so hard, man.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. I think I hung out with him at in Arlington or at Tinley, but very, you know, very shortly. You know, big U.S. Ark supporter.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Every chance I get, I've been a member for a while. I don't know exactly. It's been several years now.
Yeah,
put a couple videos out on their YouTube channel.
They asked me for one, and I was just like, how? Like, I don't even keep any animals right now. Like, what the fuck am I gonna say? You know,
right?
But then you know, if they don't do their job, I won't have anybody to come on this dumb show and talk about their animals.
I know, right? Because nobody will have any of them. You know, I'll just sit around and remember the time that we used to have animals.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Is there anything else you want to say? We're coming up on an hour here, so I know you got to get to bed.
Yeah, because I'm old and stuff.
Yeah, well, you and me both, right? we were talking about that at ReticFest, I think, right? Like,
yeah. It's a tough transition, man. I used to be the Man of Steel.
Yeah. 21 and invincible. You know, you remember those days. You know, you think about those days now. And then you realize you're like, dude, that was 30 years ago. Well, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hit my prime at 30.
Yeah.
The peak of my badassery was at 30. And I was a freaking monster. And I stayed that way until I was 40. And as soon as 40 hit, I rolled out of bed on my on day one of my 40th year. And just,
ow, my shoulder hurts. Yeah, I must have slept wrong on it.
Yep. And that was 20 years ago. So now it's like, well, 40 was only 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, but you know, all the shit started happening to me in my 40s. Right. You know, like fucking stroke, fucking leg problems, fucking, and you know, and I'm starting off my 50s by chopping off a leg. So, you know, if I keep this rate up, I'll be dead by the time I'm 60.
Because, at least keep it down to one appendage a decade.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. But you know what? I saw this dude with no arms and no legs. He just had like these little flippers, right? Yeah. And he was like this motivational speaker guy. And I was like, man, this guy's incredible. He's fucking shuffling his ass up on stage. He's doing a lot of rolling around to get places, you know. And I was like, and he's making it work. But then I'm thinking, at 60, do I want to be rolling around? Like, if I want to go to the fridge, do I got to roll to the fridge to fucking reach my flipper up and fucking pull the fridge? I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know.
I think I'd rather go out with a little dignity, you know?
It always amazes me that people I seen this video not too long ago of this mom that doesn't have any arms. So she takes care of her kids and does everything just with her feet. You know, she's in there cooking with her feet and all of this. And
man, if somebody gave me a meal that they cooked with their feet, I don't know how I feel about that. I'd be like, I don't know.
After you spent a few years in the military, you eat the ass out of a dead horse after a while.
Well, I'm all for eating ass, not necessarily out of a dead horse. But I do remember, speaking of birthdays, like I would never eat ass before I was 30. I was just like, no way, I'm not doing that. Like that, are you kidding me? That's gross. And on midnight on my 30th birthday, I woke up from a nap and I was like, I gotta lick me some ass tonight, right? And yeah, ever since it's been a thing. Okay, so
right. I mean, but got to make friends and build rapport somehow.
yeah, well, that's and it turns out that a lot of women like it. Okay, you wouldn't think that a lot of women like it because but I think that when they hit 30, they probably went out and said, "Man, I got to get my ass licked tonight." Right? I hope I could find me a Chris, you know, to fucking lick this ass. So, all right, brother. Well, thank you for taking the time, man. I appreciate you hanging out, man.
Good to talk to you, man. I was, I knew you had a lot going on, of course, after we left Pittsburgh. So,
yeah, it was
hanging out.
It was a rough couple of months, but hopefully I'm over the hump now. Yeah. And next time you see me, I'll have a Terminator leg going zzz, zzz, zzz.
That's awesome.
Hopefully next time you see me, you'll hear me coming. All right.
There you go.
Everybody go to Intrepid Exotics on Instagram, right? YouTube. It's Intrepid Exotics everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Intrepid Exotics on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Actually getting ready to roll. I think we're at what the hell is it now? Getting ready to roll 7K subs on the channel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really 6890 right now. So really pushing to get this. I just want to roll over this 10K. It doesn't really actually mean anything,
right?
As far as, but it's like this thing up here. I remember when I first started the channel, looking at everybody going, man, he's got 6,000-7,000 subscribers on there,
Right.
It's just kind of like a hurdle up here.
Shit, I'll be happy with 5. I got like 25 now.
Right.
But also I realize I'm an acquired taste. You're actually bringing more to the community than I am. All right. But everybody go subscribe, man. Intrepid Exotics. Do not type in Tim Jackowicz, because if you spell it wrong, I am not responsible for the shit that comes up.
The only thing you'll see on my I do have a personal YouTube. It's got like 12 subs and 3 videos on it or something.
Yeah, I know that because I got the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an old New Year's Eve show that we did in Iraq where I blew a bunch of stuff up, and the scout platoon was on the roof filming it and hooing and hawing. We had Rob Zombie playing through the PSYOP speakers and all that shit.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to go see that one.
Yeah. Type in Sinjar New Year's 2003 or some shit like that. It was Sinjar, Iraq, and you can, if you look really carefully down the left corner of all the explosions, you can kind of see the little Humvee sitting down there where we was detonating everything.
Yeah, you're like, that was me, right?
Yeah. And then at the end of it, that last shot that we detonated blew out like 3/4 of the windows on camp. So,
oh God,
you see the flash, you hear the boom, and then all of a sudden you're all the infantry first sergeants are coming over to our hooch after that, going, "Okay, engineers, that was all really cool, but now my guys can't go to bed because their windows are all in their sleeping bags."
Right.
We get the Iraqis out here to start replacing them tomorrow. My bad.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Tim. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, it's good talking to you again, man.
You too, brother. I'll see you soon, man.
All right, you have a good night, brother.
Right. You too, man. Geeky Geckos is Arizona's largest gecko breeder, and they're helping usher the fat man into the leopard gecko space. They have a really popular YouTube channel for education, care, and breeding, and all that other fun shit. And they have an active community on Instagram, Facebook, and Discord over at Geeky Gecko Creations. Oh, since they're in Arizona and it's fucking 98 degrees there in the winter, they could ship year-round. Plus, if you buy from them, they basically have free consultations about your collection for life. That's forever. Forever and ever. Call or text Frank today at 480-299 7657 with any questions or inquiries that you have. That's a fucking man that stands by his shit, that he's willing to give out his fucking cell number to all of you degenerates. There's another Snakes and a Fat Man special with Geeky Gecko Creations. It's hard to fucking say. There's a special 10% discount on all applicable animals using code SATFM10 at checkout. Go check out Frank and his awesome fucking animals at geekygeckocreations.com. All right, guys, I just want to thank Tim again. I want to thank Danny and Renae Rocha. Those great guests this week. And look, I'm having a good time again. I'm having a good time doing this because I had 2 months of not doing it or not being able to do it. And, the thought of doing these things again kind of kept me going, even though my leg got chopped off. Okay. Anyway, listen, if you like what you see here, be like all these other cool people right here and join the only reptile cool guy club on the planet at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. I'm actually shooting a new series for Patreon members only now. And I got to tell you, I'm having a fucking fun time fucking doing it. So also, big deal. Fat Man Live is coming back to you next week. That's October 22nd. With Lily Nagatani. Okay, you want to talk hot reptile breeder? Lily Nagatani is it. So we're starting up those Sunday shows again. We're going to continue those Sunday shows into the new year, highlighting women in the hobby. Also, tonight, October 15th, there's going to be an open Zoom call for reptile keepers. Been looking forward to doing those again, too. Those are going to be every 2 weeks between Fat Man Live and Zoom calls. We're going to have a busy rest of the year. The Zoom calls are also going to continue into 2024. And finally, listen, go check out the Tuesday Takeover show, Bronx Down Under, with me, Brian Rivera, Luke Strafford, talking about nothing. Sometimes we're talking about something, but usually not. It's a fucking fun time that I guarantee you guys will fucking laugh the entire time, because basically there's 2 assholes from New York and 1 asshole from Australia. So it's a good time no matter how you cut it. Guys, thanks again. I will see you at the Zoom call tonight. If not, I'll see you at Fat Man Live next Sunday with Lily Nagatani. If not, I'll see you Tuesday with Bronx Down Under. Look, I'm going to be all over the place. All right, this is what you get when shit like this happens to me. Fucking, I just want to come back stronger. So thanks again, guys, for everything. I will see you guys, I don't know, in the next couple of days. Take it easy. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators, and again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to SeaSerpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fat Man sent you.